Everybody, I got a special treat for you in this video. Today we're going to be talking to the founders of an organization that takes racing and helping veterans and puts them together. So follow me and let's start this journey. All right, everybody. As I said, we're down here at the shop of AJ here. We're going to talk about a program that pairs up helping veterans and racing. So, AJ, tell me a little bit about yourself and some of your military background.
Okay, well, I'm a recently retired Master Sergeant from the U.S. Army Special Forces. Started out in the Air Force, wound up in the Missouri and Illinois National Guard, and finally found a home with 3rd Special Forces Group out of Fort Bragg. Let's see, several years in Afghanistan. I've got friends and colleagues that have spent much more time in Afghanistan than I have, but yeah, I've been there several years, many combat deployments. Retired in 2022 and began the follow-on mission.
So it brings me to my next question. Exactly what is the follow-on mission and why is it important for veterans?
Yeah, the follow-on mission it's based off of something that I personally experienced, the literal life-saving experience for me of adrenaline therapy. I was exposed to it through another veterans organization and decided after I had that experience, this is something that we want to bring back to Missouri and share with other military veterans and first responders. Adrenaline therapy is the process of physiologically recreating the same things experienced in combat, but in a recreational environment.
That's pretty cool. And that helps with PTSD and kind of resetting.
Yeah. PTSD, there's been about 1,600 hours right now done on people affected by PTSD and putting them in a race car. And easiest way for me to think about it is think of a condition like diabetes, type 2, where the body is become insulin resistant. Repeated exposure to combat has an effect on where your body doesn't respond to hormones, specifically cortisol and adrenaline. And what the adrenaline therapy does is in a recreational environment, you experience elevated cortisol and adrenaline levels, and you're not getting shot at. So that begins to rewire the brain and the hormone responses of the body.
That's pretty cool.
Our mission is to provide adrenaline therapy to military, veterans, first responders through endurance auto racing at no cost to the individual.
That's pretty cool. That's a pretty interesting way to help veterans. I don't think a lot of people understand that sometimes going outside the box is, bigger than just doing some of the traditional stuff because not everybody heals the same way.
Right.
What got you into, racing in general or especially, kind of road racing?
Road racing is something fairly new to me. My actual interest in automotive racing began in 1973. Parents took me to Capitol Speedway to see the USAC sprint cars. In that time period, a 1970 sprint car looked like a 1960s Indy car. They were still the circle track, big or little. The cars were still very closely aligned up to that point.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, we've mentioned Capitol Speedway a few times on this channel. So Capitol Speedway got you started into the racing community.
Yeah, that spurred my initial, as a very young child, Capitol Speedway spurred my initial interest in automotive motorsports.
When did you kind of transfer over from the circle track interest to kind of road course?
Yeah, that happened during my military service. My outlet for combat related, say the mental injuries of repeated exposure to combat was always athletics. And that was either pure athletics or motorsports. That period of my life, still healthy, and motorcycles were where we were at. We raced off-road from before me and Rebecca were married. We're off-road motorcycle racers. I eventually went to asphalt track days and club races on road racetracks, and a little bit of drag racing in there. And as my injuries piled up, I lost the motorsports outlet with racing bicycles, and that was my outlet for combat exposure. Eventually, the injuries piled up, surgeries, and speaking with surgeons, I had to give the bicycle racing up. And at that point in my life, I no longer had an outlet for the for the combat exposure. And at the urging of my mental health providers and Rebecca, my wife, to find another outlet, um, Rebecca entered me into an endurance automotive race, and I had an immediate impact on my state of mind and my condition.
Wow. That's pretty cool. So you've been kind of hooked ever since.
Yeah, it just seemed like a natural progression. Going from motorcycles to a bicycle, I needed something. I needed to reclaim to reclaim maintaining combat the high level of cortisol and adrenaline. It chemically damages you, and I needed to do something to fix that.
Well, road racing, especially endurance racing, like you all do with these cars,
Yeah,
a lot of people, and this kills me when I hear this argument that race car drivers aren't athletes. Obviously they've never done it before
yeah,
because dirt track is hard enough. Those guys do some G's
yeah.
around the corners and everything. But I mean, road course racing, you're taking varying turns
All right.
on different directions. So, I mean, your core, your forearms, almost everything takes a smoking. That's why, I mean, F1 drivers train like they do, for those. But that's pretty interesting to hear your progression from, motorsports and how it's helped you along in life to eventually bringing you over towards the road course.
As far as the athleticism, after my first race, now granted, I had I've got some orthopedic injuries, but after my first stint in the car, I'd spent 90 minutes in a road race car, and I had to physically be carried back over the wall. I couldn't make it on my own.
Oh, man. Now, did that 90 minutes feel like 90 minutes or did it go kind of like
No, it initially the first 5 minutes take an eternity, and the 85 minutes after that, you're not really aware of what happened. It just went away.
Man, that's cool.
I think military law enforcement community, ER staff, um, I think really what they appreciate is it's a family environment from the series that we run, from their staff to the other teams. It's really a family environment. It's very welcoming. Everybody's got a common goal, and it's a great therapeutic event.
That's awesome. So, what kind of cars do you normally build down here?
Well, we're a little bit different. We race in a sea of Porsches, BMWs, Mazda Miata, of course, and the odd Camaro. We're racing at present. We're racing a G body. It's something that's very rarely done in this type of racing, but it captures that visceral feel. There's just nothing like an American pushrod V8 to light the fire in your soul.
I can concur.
Yeah. Our first car we started with, it was a borrowed car. It was a partially complete build, and this thing wasn't ready. It was a BMW. It's the E30 chassis, which if you think of the boxy 318 BMWs, that's a real popular platform. The G body, and next up is a little more conventional. There's not a lot of them road racing with our series, but a little more conventional car. It's a Honda Civic, so it's that import 4-cylinder buzzy sound that. Not our favorite, but it's a really convenient car to build.
Well, with the program, it's a great program. How do veterans get into this program?
The veterans, we have people that hear about us and go to the website and nominate themselves. There's a nomination form. Nothing wrong with nominating yourself, folks. We have family members that will do a nomination form, and then we get referrals from other veterans organizations.
Oh, that's cool. So multiple avenues. Like you said, just go to the website, check it out, and you or a family member can nominate and get in there. So where do you normally race these cars?
We're focused in the we're focused in the central United States. Jennings, Oklahoma is about as far west as we go, and we race up in Michigan, Wisconsin, but kind of take 1 day's travel around central Missouri and do a circle. And if there's a track in there, that's in our wheelhouse.
I think one of the sad things is a lot of these road courses, they don't, like a lot of people obviously have heard of
Yeah.
Knoxville and
Yeah.
Eldora and even Terre Haute,
Sure.
Indiana. There's a lot of major dirt tracks around the Midwest, all the way out to Pennsylvania. I mean, even out to like Chico, California,
Yeah.
Silver Dollar. But I think there's a lapse in the awareness about road courses out there,
Yeah.
because even with Ozark International Raceway, I tell people, now granted, it's fairly new,
Yeah.
but I'm like, yeah, there's one right down there. And they're like, man, I don't even,
Yeah.
and I think there used to be one in Iowa. I want to say just south of Des Moines or just south of
Mhm.
Omaha or
I know the track. My brother-in-law has mentioned it. Escapes my mind. I want to say Black Rock or Black Hawk, but I think that's Kansas City. I'm thinking of.
yeah. And I know, yeah, Topeka International had
Yeah.
they
And
kind of rambling now.
if I could go off on that, this is our second venue we've been involved with where the tracks aren't organized. The follow-on mission of one of our fundraising avenues is consulting. And something I have a lot of interest in is taking these tracks and combining them on one calendar. If you Google, I want to go see a road race within 100 miles of me, there should be an easy way to find that. But the tracks operating independently, they don't have. There are a couple websites out there that do try to combine a calendar, but they really need a combined venue calendar.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I know for a lot of people trying to search out different sanctions, and especially if
Right.
you don't know the name of road racing
Yeah.
sanctions or the tracks themselves, it's kind of hard to find. So I think that that's something that they could definitely look into.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. And that way it'd be easier for the fans, be more exposure for them. I
Yeah.
mean, it'd be a great deal for both sides. So, but, I don't run the tracks.
Yeah.
But we think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, you said you kind of do a day's drive around, or a day's drive from Central Missouri, and all
Right.
those tracks you kind of try to hit up. So, are families welcome to come out to the tracks to support the veterans and support the organization,
Yeah.
or to watch
Yeah.
as well?
Not only are they allowed, they're encouraged.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because racing really is a family event, whether you're married to a driver or you're just a driver or whatever. I mean, it's always fun to have your family and friend not only support you, but at home in the garage, but also come out to the track. So that's pretty cool. So tell us. I know we've mentioned the name of the organization. So tell us a little bit one more time how they can find you and how they can help with the program.
Yeah. To find us, well, we have a website, a little bit of a Facebook presence, but the website is just the Follow On Mission, and we'll get a graphic up for you. TheFollowOnMission.org. We come up under adrenaline therapy. We'll show up in a Google search like that. From the website, from there you can start, clicking contacts, nomination, donations, and the website. It's going to populate when you click on one of those buttons. It's going to populate through info.com through the info. At the Follow On Mission, but that's going to populate throughout our email chain. And worst case scenario, I'll call you back. So, but normally we'll have our vice chair, one of the important people call you. But if something comes up, I'll be in contact with you.
Awesome. Like you said, we'll put that information up on the channel so you guys can find thefollowonmission.org and see what they're doing. Keep up with the organization too. So, AJ, this is a pretty cool thing you've got going here. Obviously, it takes a bit of donations and a bit of support from the community. So, is there anything that maybe the racing community, because it is one big community, is there anything that the racing community could help you out with, or
something to the short track community in Missouri can really help us out with is we need to counterweight the car. When we sprung it, it was just kind of best guess. But if we can get one of the fender classes or modified guys that know these chassis and can help us out with corner weights and recommend some springs on it, we would really welcome that.
Okay, well there you go. I'm sure there's some people out there that know how these cars transfer weight
Yeah.
that could help out. After all, this is a big community, so this is a great organization. Like I said, it pairs racing with helping veterans, and both those things are really cool. And I know there's a lot of veterans out there that race, so if we could help out, then contact the follow-on mission and see what we can do. What do you think would surprise most people about strapping into a car like this?
The physical experience, as far as the drain, the physical taxing on your body, and that is the effect of experiencing 90 to 120 minutes straight of elevated levels of adrenaline and cortisol in a recreational environment. The initial drive. Before people get in the car on Friday, or they drive a little bit Friday, and then Friday night they can't sleep. That's test and tune day. Saturday, after they experience that first stint in racing conditions, we always hear that that's the best night of sleep they've gotten in years. It's just I'll say cleansing, but it's really a return. It'll begin to return your life to what it was before combat.
Man, that's awesome. And you can't put a price on that, especially for people that have given up and sacrificed so much.
Yeah.
So we sit here and we've talked a little bit about you and the organization. Let's check out this car.
That's my favorite topic.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, AJ. So tell us a little bit about the car itself.
Well, when we first decided that this was going to be an avenue we were going to pursue, looking at traditional cars, BMW, Porsche, the imports. And we realized we want to do something a little bit different. We want to stick with an American pushrod V8 car. This particular car, 1978 Malibu, this was actually my high school car. It had been sitting in my mom's pasture for about 30 years. When I enlisted in the military, Mom and Dad didn't think it was a real good idea to have this particular car with me. They wanted me to get a new car and something with a few less cubic inches. So I wound up buying a little grocery getter car, and this thing is just sad and sat under a cedar tree, just slowly getting devoured by the earth.
That's pretty cool. It's cool that you could save it, and it's cool that you have this piece of personal history.
Yeah.
And that you can, take it out, share it, give it new life, and have it be a part of the program that's such a big part of your life right now.
Yeah, doing tearing it down to the frame and starting a fresh restoration process. Wife noticed that as the car was becoming restored and functional again, so was I.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. I love the color.
Yeah, color. We wanted to do something that stands out. We wanted something that's visually appealing, not just for the people watching the race, but for people that support us and are partners with us. We want to have something that looked nice. And the color, it's cobalt blue, cobalt candy blue, just Summit Racing, not a real expensive paint, a little tricky to shoot, but it does make the car stand out.
That's pretty cool. I've always been a big fan of blue, especially this shade of blue, like a cobalt blue. There's just something about it that's like, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful color.
I was looking at some other colors, and our board of directors said, hey, this is, it's an American car. We're putting American heroes in it. Let's put an American color on it.
Nice. So give us a tour around the car.
Okay.
And,
okay. Yeah. We'll just stop something. I don't know. Short track. A few of them probably do, but we start here. These are called NACA ducts, and these ducts right here, one pipe will go to the driver, and then another pipe goes to the rear brake cooling.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exhaust on a road race car, you do have to have a muffler. It's always a challenge to keep that up high enough. We actually have the exhaust in the interior of the car, or where the interior used to be. It's inside an exhaust box. We've got a 3 inches plumbed down to 4, and comes out right there on the side.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Inside the car. Roll cage, we use call it the NASCAR style door bars. It's 1 3/4 DOM. This is kind of a neat thing right here, a cool shirt. This is just a cooler full of ice water. And what it does is when the driver gets hot, he can flip a switch on the dash, and it's going to circulate that cold water through a t-shirt that he's wearing full of tubes. And let's see, we have external remote reservoirs. And reason we want them up here is during a pit stop, the crewman can just come over and check the fluid levels, and it's going to give you an idea how much brake pad that you have left.
That's cool. I like that cool shirt because, obviously most of the racing takes place in spring, summer, fall, but the height is in the summer. Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking about a hot car, hot track, hot weather. That's pretty cool and probably pretty crucial.
Yeah. Fairly routinely, you're going to see interior car pit temperatures reach about 130 degrees. You try to duct as much air on you as you can, but that cool shirt is really key to keeping the driver conscious.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely. I know that, you don't want to get heat exhaustion while you're racing, having fun, trying to enjoy the time, so, that's cool.
Let's see, fuzzy dice, not required by our sanctioning body, but highly encouraged on an American car.
That's awesome.
Decal right there, that's just a universal danger signal for electricity. Should you have an incident, that's going to tell the rescue team right where your master cutoff switch is.
That's cool. So, well, one of my questions was going to be why you chose, this particular car, and that's pretty cool. The reasoning and the story behind it. So
yeah, it was, it's freedom.
That's awesome. Let's check out some more.
Okay. Yeah, you walk around. The brakes we use on here, these are, it's Willwood. It's full manual brakes, no boost whatsoever. This kit on the front, it's an upgrade to the C5 Corvettes. It's a aftermarket performance upgrade to the C5 Corvettes. 3,000-pound car, they work really, really well.
That's cool. So you're saying manual brakes, how much foot-pounds or how much... I think you know what I'm trying to ask, but is that fatigue? Fatigue drivers pretty good.
It does. It fatigues them, physically. It does fatigue them. Now, as far as your nervous system, not having that boost in there and working that fine line, I think it helps the driver relax a little bit. Even though the physical effort is higher, the mental taxation isn't nearly what it is with boosted brakes. Front, of course, this was a 305 car that immediately became a 354 barrel car when I bought it.
Yeah, that's cool.
But if you notice on the engine setback, I believe the modifieds and most of your fendered short track cars, the first spark plug can be no farther back than the front ball joint right here. We've gone to a 5.3 LS setup. We've moved the engine 15 inches back and 2 inches down for a little better front to rear weight bias.
Wow.
So she is way, way back there.
Yeah, you can definitely tell she's sitting way back there for those who can't.
Yeah, people, she's in Bluetooth mode tonight. We just got the motor back in it last night, so don't have her dressed out or the transmission installed. But people will actually, working on the car, will actually step over and just stand between the radiator and the pulley on it.
That's cool.
So, conventional stuff on it, 1 3/4 headers. They're just, generic stainless steel headers. We did have to mix them up rather than build custom tubes. Found out that for the LS swap crowd, it's a C10 truck header on one side and a Fox Body Mustang header on the other. And it's just one of the things we had to go to get that engine back there. They also have power steering. We are using for the racers out there. It's a Sweets 6-to-1 box, so very, very fast turning ratio. That's actually faster than this car with the factory box with a 2-to-1 power steering or a 2-to-1 steering box added to it. Suspension is we do have aftermarket control arms. Those are UMI performance control arms, a little more adjustability, a lot stronger, and ultimately it's a performance upgrade, but it's safer as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Cooling, cooling is just done. It's just one of the box, Summer Racing Jegs. It's just one of their generic radiators. It is a 3-pass. Then we just put a Durrell Durrell fairing on the back of it with dual fans.
Sweet.
And let's see. Yeah, that right there, it's called an AccuSump. And what this does is anytime the engine is below 30 pounds of oil pressures, a tight corner, heavy on the brakes, what this does is below 30 pounds of pressure, this thing starts pumping an additional 2 quarts of 30 psi oil back into the system.
Wow.
So
That's cool. Well, let's take a look at the cockpit.
Okay. So looking at the inside, just a traditional, just additional quick release wheel. It aids the driver getting in and out, but it's also a safety factor. If the rescue crew's got to pull that driver out, they're not fighting around the steering wheel. Just pull the wheel out. Let's see. Road racing seat. It's bolstered on both sides versus a dirt track car. Let's see. Here. This right here. And this right here, this is called Flagtronics, similar to a receiver, but it's the electronic. It's a message to tell the driver what's going on, whether that be a black flag. Hey, you've done something naughty. Come and talk to us about it. A yellow, red flag by the end of the race. The race control communicates everything through a digital message right there on the board. The gauges are all. It's pretty much all traditional. We did go with a white-faced analog-looking gauge, but they are electronic gauges. Let's see, you got the ignition control panel. That's a real common panel right there. That controls. We do have to have working lights, so you've got your headlights on there, your start, fuel cutoff, master power cutoff. All pretty traditional stuff. Behind the dice right here. That right there, the cars are required to have a fire suppression system on it. And you pull that lever right there, and it dumps a fire retarding chemical mist. You've got 2 on the driver, and then 2 on the motor. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So 1 lever covers both. And let's see here. Oh, we do have sorry about the condition of the dash right now. That is black flock, but we do have to have some way to demist, defog the windshield. So it's an aftermarket heater box is the generic Summit Racing part, and then plugged into defroster vents right there.
That's cool. Notice you got 3 pedals down there. So what kind of transmission are you guys running?
We run a 1968 Muncie. We've upgraded it to late model. Late model was a 26, 27 spline input. In the M21 gear set, which is the close ratio. Now, take M21 close ratio gear set. We run a 325 gear out back. It's a little challenging with a 9-pound flywheel. It's a little challenging to get the car moving. But once it's moving, pull away from pits in first gear, get it in second as good as you can. Second gear will cover you from a 35 mile per hour hairpin corner to 100 miles an hour flat down a straightaway. So you don't have to do a great deal of shifting in this car.
Wow. What kind of rear end are you guys running?
We're running a Curry Enterprises 9-inch Ford.
Oh, okay.
And an Eaton True Track. Nothing real tricky. We've had great luck with the Eaton True Track. Versus a traditional limited slip, it's very, very gentle in the rain. These cars, they do run without regard to the weather. The only time weather will ever bring out the black flag is if visibility is a factor.
Oh, okay.
So
do you guys do a lot of night races?
Yeah, there are several night races. Traditionally, we run 8 hours on Saturday, daylight hours, 8 hours on Sunday, but they do have 14 and 24-hour races to where you're going to be racing under your headlights.
That's pretty cool.
Very exciting.
So with the different kind of tracks, I know one of the things that I'm curious about, like on a dirt car setup, mm-hmm. You go to a different track and you got to change gears and everything else. Do you guys have to deal with that too much, or is it pretty much just?
No, we determined what top speed we were going to need at Daytona, and then we just started. We picked that top speed as that's the absolute fastest that you need to be to keep up with the pack at Daytona. And we started that. That was for this car at I think we figured a 6,500 RPM redline, 325 gear is what it takes. And it sounds really high, but racing a pushrod V8 versus the dual overhand cam 4 and 6 cylinders, we've got the torque to make up for for that tall gear.
That's pretty crazy.
And we've never had a driver yet have to use first gear on the track.
Oh, wow.
So,
with, I want to, I'm kind of curious on how, like, what are the normal top speeds of this class on some of the road courses?
We run, as far as the classes, they're set up by, they just go by engine displacement, really simple on the classes. This is in the V8 class, which is Class D. We're in a class called EC, Exhibition Class. With that, it's a little more liberal on what modifications you can do to the car. One thing you can't do is have a tremendously higher closing speed than the pack. I do monitor that. Top speeds approaching 150 at Road America. Most tracks are in the 110 to 130 range. Road America's got, I think, a 2,000 foot long straightaway, a couple of them, and you can really air it out on those.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So you mentioned Road America and being here in Central Missouri. Yeah. For those of us that are in Central Missouri, I know you guys head up the Ozark International Raceway. Give us the dates on that, and hopefully people can come out, see the car, support the program, and show their support.
Yeah, absolutely. Ozarks International. Let's see, it is running, I believe, August 8th, 9th, and 10th, with 8th being test and tune, 9 and 10 are race days. Come out to the track. You don't have to be a club member to get in. You can buy a day pass. Day pass will grant you full access to the paddock, the garages, the pits, any area that's open on the track normally to spectators is open to you. Only thing you can't do with a day pass is you can't put the fire suit on and cross over the wall during fueling. Other than that, the track is wide open to you.
So you hear that, folks? Come on out and show your support. You can get up close to the cars, up close to the teams, and pick their brains if you want to and enjoy some good racing.
Yeah.
And you said that is August 8th, 9th, and 10th?
I believe that's it, yeah.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah. Be your second. Yeah, this is, I've gotten where my injuries continued after we started this process, or as far as surgeries to fix them. So, a large part of my therapy through this program is actually getting to do work on the car. But yeah, in the back, if you're a short track fan, I believe that fuel cell, that is the super late model fuel cell, 22 gallons. In the back, might need some light, but you see a cooler back there on the left. That's actually for the transmission. Got a cooler pump and filter set up. Remote 35 series battery back there. I know a lot of people don't like the old red top battery, but almost 20 years in and out of Afghanistan, and that was our go-to battery that we went to. So had good luck with it. Got cooler, pump, and filter for the transmission.
Sweet.
And
got a lot going on back here.
Yeah. Got the first you got your fill. That's outlet to the fuel pump. You got the return line. We do run a system with a return on it, and that right there is a vent. Watch your fuel right here as it starts to back up. Hey, we're getting close, but if we do overfill it, it'll vent through right there, and it dumps out below the gas neck. So when you're refueling, there's the vent right there. You have to have a catch pan below the fill neck, and it makes it convenient having the vent there. You just do one pan, and it covers them both. So
now, what's the process of refueling this? Do you guys just use regular gas cans, or do you use the pressurized?
No, this series, Champ Car Endurance Series, in an effort to keep the prices controllable, it's DOT tires and pump gas only. So there are some guys out there that will say, well, I bought this Sunoco or this VP out of a pump. It's available to the public. But the thing is that extra 2 degrees of timing I can get out with race fuel, it's 2 degrees of timing isn't gonna help. It's gonna make or break this thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we do put that minimum octane of 112. We put that on there just to aggravate people. So just to make them ask questions. But no, it's a 93 non-alcohol pump gas.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I noticed you've got these little toe things down
Yeah.
back here too. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, you have to have toe straps, but they have to be soft straps. You can't have the hooks on there. Reason being is, so many cars, almost everything has got plastic and foam bumpers, and you'll see incidents with the solid hooks is they'll stab that into the car in front of them and they'll wind up spinning them unintentionally. So.
Yeah, don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
A lot of time and money goes into these things, and you don't want to tear them up if you can prevent it.
Yeah, one of the things, weight, we were just both sides at 3,000, just a pound over, or I think we've had it 40 pounds under at one point. But we do run those are U.S. 5 mile per hour DOT bumpers on it with reinforcement plates. The bumpers are stock. I'm going to guess 80 pounds each, maybe, with those in there. But we make up for the weight, some other ways. Other ways we can take weight out of the car to make up for those.
That's cool.
Tires, we do a Hankook program. We run the Ventus RS4 Hankooks. There are faster tires out there, but these tires will not only last one race day, they'll last multiple races. The guys tell me that, so you got it? We run this Hankook Ventus RS4. Other teams tell us that we're giving up anywhere between 2 and 4 seconds a tire. The advantage we have is cost. We can run this tire not only the entire day, but we can get several weekends out of one tire. And we're always going to, this is a novice, it's always going to be a novice team by design. Guys do get experience with this, but most of the folks come to us have never driven a race car on any kind of a track before. So that 2 to 4 seconds a lap we're giving up with tires makes up for it as the vets get more time in the car. That's a Ford Star called the F14 wheel with the G body and the Camaro guys. It's a real popular car for autocross and the pro touring guys. And Ford guys on the back may recognize that brake. That's just the Ford with a 13.2 inch. It's the big Ford truck brake on the back. Special Operations Command on the car. We do have a lot of drivers come from U.S. Special Operations Command or SOCOM, but the driver doesn't need to be SOCOM affiliated. It's just, when we started out, just because of my social circle, being retired Special Forces, know a lot of guys under the SOCOM banner, so we put that on there for them. Shout out Ram Clutches. They discount what they can to us, being a veterans nonprofit, but we are not sponsored. We consider them a partner just because of the technical support that they give us. If you've got a question, you send them an email, and you're going to get an email answer or a phone call right back, and that is much better than you're going to get from the big name people on clutches parts. UMI Performance, we run UMI Performance decals on the car. Again, that's one we consider a partner. Not only a little bit of discount that do what they can to help put veterans in the car, but it's their technical support. Is why we stick with UMI Performance on everything we can. I'm not sure what the fender class is. If they're running, assuming they're running tubular control arms. UMI is a small business. It's growing as a small business, but they design and build everything in-house. So it's a great organization. They're great people to talk to, and unsurpassed customer support.
Well, I know for a lot of people, including myself, customer support can go a long way from getting my business and keeping my business.
Exactly.
So I don't mind. I don't mind paying a little extra for if they're good people.
Yeah,
make a good product.
We do have one major vendor that provides us a pro shop deal. We don't meet the qualifications to be a pro shop member. We're not running NHRA or ARCA with some of their qualifications, but just simply as a veterans 501c3, they offered us the pro shop deal, but they said, please don't share that on social media because we don't want, hey, you're supporting these little guys, come support my late model program. But they do offer us pro shop. We just can't mention them. They're great people, a great American company. Yeah, we do. Thanks, Ray, for having us on. We do try to spread the message through social media. Last week, we had the opportunity to talk to the Missouri legislature about the effects of adrenaline therapy.
That's pretty cool. Hopefully, that will continue to give you all avenues to spread this even further.
Yeah. We are veterans 501c3, and we live on the kindness of others to keep this program going. It's the small, what we call the mom and pop donations. That's the individual, the family, the small businesses contributing to us, and that is the bread and butter of what keeps us going.
That's cool.
All right. Something we want to mention is that, yes, the race car and the adrenaline it provides, that is the focal point of the organization. But the other half of it is the teamwork, the camaraderie, being part of the family again with a purpose. You don't have to drive to be part of our program. We've had people come up, they just wanted to hang out with military guys again. They wanted to be part of a team, work towards a common goal. Didn't have any expressed interest in driving the car. They, without fail, everybody that showed up with an interest in hanging out with us has wound up being a driver.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. Come on out, support them at the track, hang out, talk with like-minded individuals that love racing, and you might find a military buddy there to talk some shop with.
Yeah.
So come on down if you're in Central Missouri. Remember, August 8th, 9th, and 10th at Ozark International Raceway, and you can support the mission again at thefollowonmission.org, and it'll be right there on the screen.
Yeah. Come hang out with us. Families are encouraged.